love it when I get so high and drop that ass so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop.
Jennifer Williams from Basketball Wives took to her social media showcasing her new engagement ring. That is right, she's officially off the market. She is engaged to her 30-year-old investor boyfriend or fiancé. He was an ex-con, turned his life around. Now he's an investor and he is all about Jen. Now, of course, her fans are congratulating her, but there are also people telling her to be careful because she doesn't have a good track record when it comes to dating. We all know she is the ex-wife of basketball player Eric Williams. She also dated a gentleman named Cisco and then another gentleman who inspired her to start her documentary. You know, she had dated this guy, he stole her car, and so much more. She has been through these horrible relationships, but she seems to be happy. She has a couples channel, and I included a snippet of that. Of course, we got to drop our disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and it is covered under the Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976. All right, let's get into it.
He kept talking about how the building was so amazing, so I was like, cool, like, let's go check it out. So we go to his building. For some reason, I don't know, we didn't even go to his apartment. We end up going to the rooftop. Yeah. So we're on the rooftop. It's me, him, another guy that lives in the building, and Armani's boyfriend's mother. We're having wine, just like chilling on a rooftop, and I'm not sure how long we were up there when you came.
I don't know. It seemed like y'all would like have a few glasses of wine though.
No, yeah, because we have been drinking all the time.
And I know how it is when you, shout out to Armani too, I know how it is when you get with Armani, it's like it's like you gotta have a bottomless liver.
Yes, so
crazy.
at the Four Seasons, we were drinking champagne, and then we probably had a cocktail, and then, yeah, we had wine on a roof. It was like one of those days. It was Friday, so yeah, we were outside.
Was it cold? It was cold, right? Was it cold? It wasn't that cold.
It was cold, but it wasn't like freezing. I had like on a first leave.
You did? I remember the whole thing. I mean, top to bottom. Like, I always go back. And I look at that photo because I'm like, yo, she was so... I guess I'll tell mine. YouTube fam, I had a rough day. Like, that day was just rough for me. Of course, later down the line, I end up telling Jen, like, okay, I told her about like, specifically what happened that day. And, you know, I was just leaving therapy. Listen, it is okay to go get therapy, right?
Absolutely.
Especially us African American, right? Really everyone, right? But I had just left therapy, and every time I'm done with therapy, I have a drink, right? I settle down, I'll sit by the fire pit, I have a drink, and I was actually living in the same building at the time as our friend Armani. And I normally would stay on my floor because there's like a terrace with like fire pits, there's a pool down there. But I was like, man, let me go to the rooftop because there's fire pits up there too. You get the skyline view, it's super dope. And I get off the elevator. Of course, I hear Armani's voice. Mind you, I've been knowing this dude for like 14 years now. So of course, you hear somebody's voice. I'm like, oh shit, Armani's up here, right? So I walk around the corner and I turn and I see this beautiful woman sitting right there. And I was just, I didn't, you know, because I wasn't even like in the market looking for a relationship because I just felt like it wasn't time yet. I was in a place of healing. I'm still in a place of healing. And I saw her sitting there and I was just like, man, be good. Like, you know what I'm saying? It started really kicking in. And I was just like, you know, we vibe, we talk. You know, I had my, you know, my drink and they were drinking wine. And, yeah, so we were probably like, what, babe, like 10 feet away from each other? Like 10 feet, we're like 10 feet. I'm sitting in the chair. She's like ducked off in this corner and we're gonna drop a photo of where she was actually sitting. Like she was just like to herself, legs crossed, real classy. I was like, okay, this is definitely a dope person, right? So from there, babe, what did we do? We talked for a minute and then we went back to one of our friends' apartments.
Yeah, we went downstairs and we have more wine. And I was like, oh my God, like what the hell? I have been out since 10 a.m. And I was like, I really need to get home. I've been drinking all day. I gotta drive home. Like, this is crazy. But we just were having good conversation amongst everybody. But it also felt like just him and I were talking and connecting because, you know, you just kind of like have laser eyes for one person.
It's 5 people in the setting. I remember like it was yesterday. It was 5 people in the setting.
And you had on a hoodie.
I had on a hoodie, shorts, and I had some slides on or whatever. I was just chilling, right? And
wasn't your hair pink? Or
my hair was like, it was like a mandarin color, right? I used to play with the colors a lot. My guy Sam in Atlanta, he's fire with colors, but yeah, so my hair was a different color. Of course, I had it tied down or whatever, but it was 5 of us talking, right? And me and Jen just, like, we would have a conversation with them, but we were looking at each other the whole time, and I was just like, okay, there's some type of connection there. And Jennifer got real vulnerable in the setting, too. So I was
talking about my documentary?
He was talking about the documentary with Scam Likely and, you know, that whole situation. And of course, you know, I have a very soft spot for that too because I've been scammed too. It's not really a story I'm gonna get into maybe later, but I have a soft spot for that, especially happening to a woman because Jennifer has such a big heart. But we talked and we vibed and yeah, babe,
so I was like, okay, you know what? I need to leave. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, because they mentioned going out or something, and you were just like, listen, I've been out all day.
Yeah, I was like, no. I'm definitely not going out. So I think I got up to leave.
You got up to leave. We all walked you down. We walked you down.
Yes. And so we hugged each other.
We hugged each other, but it wasn't a church hug.
It
was not a church.
Crazy.
You know how you go to church and like it was like, it's like when I hugged her and her hair was down and I smelled her scent, like it was kind of like a natural scent with her perfume. And we still talk about that perfume to this day, but I was just like, okay, all right. We walked into her car, you know what I'm saying? She left. I get back to my spot and I hit my boy up like, bro, I know that you saw what I saw. I know, like, did you see a connection? Because Armani is the type of guy that pays attention. So I was like, I know you see this connection, bro. He was like, I know what you saw and I saw it too. Come back to my crib, let's talk about it. Mind you, I think it's like 2 in the morning. It's late.
Yeah, it was late. It was definitely, I think maybe like, probably like 1 close to 2.
Yeah.
It was between 12 and 2.
I'll let you tell this part, because, you know, I feel like I have to tell it. All of our friends that we, like, our real life friends, I'm the one that tells the story, so I'll let her finish it up.
So I guess he goes up to Armani's apartment, and basically, when I got home, I texted Armani, and I was like, hey, what's up with light skin? And so I don't know, you asked him for my number? I'm not really sure.
No, so, I mean, when I went back to his spot.
Because he asked me, is it okay to give him your number?
Yeah, when I went back to his spot, and this is not something I normally do, but I went back to his spot, we were talking, and I was like, yo, I mean, of course, you saw the connection, I saw it, and then, I was like, yo, like, if it's cool, of course, you know her, if I can get her number, you get permission, cool, gentleman-like. And the next morning, I slid in the messages, not in the DMs. I had the number. I was like, okay, she had the 917 area code. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, this is, okay, she Jersey, she New York, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is dope. So we were texting, of course, and
honestly, I really did want to connect with you that day, but I was so tired because I had such a long week. I had been out literally all day the day before, and I needed to hit reset. So I actually did not leave my house at all that day, because if I would have left, we would have hooked up. But I did not leave my house. I literally just like, I took a woosah. So the next day was Sunday. The next day was Sunday. my girl Mimi that does my hair in Atlanta, she came to my house, she did my hair. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling cute. I was going to New York the next day. And so I hit him up and we were just like talking over text. And I think we had made plans to get together. We made plans to get together like later that day. I had been like super busy, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna run out and get something to eat. At the time, our boy Armani worked at Nobu, so I was like, I'm gonna pull up to Nobu and just like sit at the bar.
By the way, that's her favorite spot.
Yeah.
That's her spot.
So, you know, Nobu had kind of just opened in Atlanta. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna go chill with him at the bar, grab some food, and then kind of just like see what we're gonna do. So I'm at the bar and he texts me and he's like, hey, do you want to just like go to Nobu since Armani is there? And I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is so crazy. So I was like, oh my God, we're on the same wavelength. Like, I'm already here sitting at the bar talking to Armani.
Yeah, so it's the connection.
So
it's like,
he's like, all right, I'm about to pull up.
Pulled up and sat at the bar. She looked beautiful as usual. And we sat and we talked. I mean, we vibed, we had drinks. Like, I feel like we had unlimited drinks. We just kept, we were just trying everything. Of course, those of you that have been to Nobu know the food is amazing. So we're sitting at the bar. Family, I kid you not, we sat there for like 5 hours. Like, just vibing.
I felt like I worked at Nobu because I definitely did a whole shift.
A whole shift.
We sat at the bar, then we transitioned to a table. It was like, we sat there for, I feel like it was longer than 5 hours, but yeah, it was like 5-6 hours. And we literally talked. We talked like we had known each other. There was such a sense of like just something very familiar. There was no awkward silence. It wasn't like we were doing an interview. Yeah. It flowed, and we just talked about kind of everything.
You want to tell our supporters on what you told Armani as far as like, or what you told yourself as far as like the next person you see has to what? I think you said something has to be like not verified, but like.
Oh yes.
So
yeah, listen, there's no secret that I've been in some horrible relationships. I've had some good ones too, you know, they're like fillers, but people know me for being in horrible relationships. So I just said, you know what? Moving forward, whoever I date, somebody has to co-sign them. Like, somebody needs to know them and can be like, you know what? Nah, he's legit. He's a good person. He comes from a great, like, whatever it is. I'm not gonna meet someone random at the coffee shop. I just feel like that doesn't necessarily work for me. Somebody gotta know you and co-sign.
Yeah.
So Armani knew him, obviously. Co-signed for him. They had known each other for 10 plus years. But you know, that day at Nobu, it was so odd for me because I'm like, damn, I don't really be like sitting here talking to people like this. And this is the thing too. Our date at Nobu, it was like he was telling me stories and like mentioning years and time frames, but we never talked about age.
Not one time.
We never talked about age.
Not one time. Not one time.
So I didn't know how old he was. It wasn't until I went to New York that next day, and it wasn't the next day, but maybe it was like the day after, and I was at Zero Bond with my best friend Joy. Shout out Joy, she's amazing. And she's like, oh my God, this sounds great. Like, he sounds like a great guy. How old is he? And I was like, oh shit, I don't know. It's just like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, you talked to him all, and I was like, because we really didn't even talk about it. I was like, well, we just like vibed. And so in Zero Bond, you're not supposed to be on the phone. It's kind of like Soho House, like you can't be on the phone. So I'm like, let me get my earpiece and call Armani. I'm like, Armani, how old is Christian? And he's like, I don't know. He was like, I think he's younger than me. And I'm thinking like, wait, you're like early 30s. And he's like, I gotta check Facebook. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, and Armani, shame on you, dude, for not knowing my exact age. But it's all good. I get it.
So I'm like, wait, what do you mean he's younger than you? Aren't you like 30? So he's like, yeah, I'm 33 or whatever. And I was just like, wait, this sounds so crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't even think he ended up telling me your age.
Maybe, I think, nah, man, I think from what you told me, he said, I think he's like a year or two younger. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of correlated it. It was like,
And
okay.
I was like, oh, okay. But I was actually so taken back because I'm like, wow, he has to be like super mature for me to sit there and talk to him for 5+ hours, and I didn't feel like we had a grown ass conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point in my life, like, you know, a lot of people, you know, we hear the critics, and oh well, the woman is this age, and the boy and the young dude is this age, but it's like a double standard too, because it's like, well, there's men that are in their 50s that, you know, shout out to my guy John. I mean, you know, and I can openly talk about this. He's 53 and his wife's 26, and they have a beautiful marriage, right? What's that, 27 years? So it's not the age gap. Yeah, I understand people don't understand that.
I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more of that piping hot tea.